Hey everybody, Barry Kleiman back. This is training camp day 4. I, as always, hope you've been touching every line, doing some of the writing, getting used to communicating with yourself and knowing about yourself and understanding your vision and what you want to happen and your uniqueness and your responsibilities to yourself. Just to again to chronicle, to have this book. When all is said and done, where'd my book go? When all is said and done, to have this book of you. I promise you, for every interview you ever go on, for any at any point in your life, whether it's you're talking to somebody about a personal situation, or you're trying to teach a young person something, a child, or having a conversation with a spouse, certainly interviews, of course. This will help you stay in integrity with yourself. Once again, you make the rules. There's nobody watching. You can be out of integrity. You can wing it. Of course, many people do. I'm not here telling anybody what to be when they grow up, but I just know that again, I've told you my story about being out of integrity and stubborn and wind up going broke and the hubris of all that and so forth. But this is for you by you. So again, you make the rules. Nobody's watching. And change your mind if you ever want to. But um, you see this quote at the top of the page by Mark Twain. Two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. Yeah, it can seem a bit kind of out there and whatever, but it's still true if you actually give a crap, right? If you really do care about it, or you just want to go through the days that you have and one day at a time, not care about one to the other, and that's a prerogative. I mean, I'm not really here to judge anybody, but I have talked long and hard and will continue about this program. This is called Winning the Fifth Quarter. This is in case you want to be somewhere where you're not. You want to figure out ways to get there, and we've introduced you to some real giants like Damon John and Dr. King and Jay Z and BJ Fogg and a host of others. I mean, imagine having these people stand up in front of a class and be able to teach you. There's a I'll tell the story another time about Jack. I'll tell it now. Jack Nicklaus. The urban legend is that there's this guy playing golf with Jack Nicklaus, and they were playing on a par three or something, and uh, apparently the guy put the ball on the ground. If you're a golfer and you didn't put it on the tee, and Jack said to him, "Well, Jim, it's a lot easier if you tee it up." And the guy said, "Well, Jack, you play your way, I'll play mine." Um, if you're getting some tutelage from one of the greats in anything, it might be worth considering, even if you don't agree with it, right? So here we have Mark Twain, a real favorite of mine, and in many ways, quite a genius. And so, why is really important? 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds ask us all the time. There's a gentleman named Simon Sinek who wrote an entire book on the why. The gentleman who taught me a lot about goal setting. Gary Ryan Blair calls why your mojo, but why matters, right? Why are you doing it? The way I talk about it in the classes I teach, I tell people to raise their hand if you've ever dug holes in the soil. Raise your hand. Um, whether it's hard soil or whatever, but if you've ever tried to dig a hole 4 feet wide and 8 feet deep, if the soil's hard and you're still digging and you're swinging a pick to get the dirt out, and the pick hits a rock, and your hands sting and so forth, it hurts. Pain in the neck. It really isn't. And so um, it's hard. So anybody ever do it? And some people raise their hand, of course, and I tell that story. I said, so if it were me, I would stop. Who wants the pain? Except if the only piece of ground you wanted to build a house, and the only piece of ground you could afford was on the side of a hill, and the post holes needed to be 4 feet 8 feet deep and 4 feet around, so you could fill them with concrete. Then would you stop digging? Same holes, same size holes, same digging effort, whatever. And hopefully, then the answer is no, you wouldn't stop because your why is different. You want a house that wouldn't slide down the hill. I've made a bunch of house analogies during this program, but in this case, yeah, it's true. You don't want your house to fall down the side of a hill. It's not, though digging isn't fun, but your why you did it completely changes your paradigm, your reason for doing it, right? So, um, what I want to stress here, and again, Simon Sinek has an entire program about this, and it's valuable. I'm going to try to sum it up, just here. As you go through your writing and you go through again thinking, changing your mind if you want to. There's no sin in changing your mind, but always understand your why. Why are you doing these things? And again, is it to be keep up with the Joneses, so to speak, or is your why a little deeper? Does it have more impact, like a house not wanting to fall down the side of a hill? And these are ways to think about it. Remember, no one's watching. You can change your mind at any time. When I true story about my why about starting the Fifth Quarter Project and doing the work I do now after 50 years in search. It's a true story. I woke up one morning and I said to my wife, I'll never forget, a bigger footprint. I just decided that after 5 decades of the executive search business and helping people, individually get, from point A to point B and doing some, executive coaching, of course, along the way, I wanted to take what I knew and share it on a larger swath of people, with a larger swath of people. I had done it before in online, a couple hundred people in small classes, 10 people, 8 people, 50 people. But I really wanted to take what I knew, and of course the people who I knew who helped me and contributed to my program, and share it with as many people as possible. Um, was my ego involved? Yeah, sure. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't. But your ego, if it's well directed, is valuable, right? It can help you do some things that will drive you. So your ego can drive your why. There's no sin there, right? It's just comes back to making sure your why is your why, and then operating on things in your life that are your strongest whys. Um, Pay attention to them and think about them and write them down. So here's an easier exercise for you to close this out. Um, you see the name on the screen of 5 people: the Wright brothers, Orville and Wilbur, Dr. King, Steve Jobs, and Oprah Winfrey. I never met any of these people. I've read a lot about most of them, but their whys changed our worlds. They were driven by these whys to change our world. Um, so if you look at it from that perspective, how life changing and world altering and powerful it is to have a strong why, I hope you would understand why I'm making this its own module and its own piece of this program. My whys ain't your whys, but I want you to have them. So for fun, if you wrote down those 5 names, you can use the Wright brothers, I guess, together, and think about what you think their whys were, and how their why, any or all of them, right, has positively impacted your life. Think about it. You know these names. Um, in many ways, you understand their accomplishments. I have some of them written here. They were aviation pioneers, the Wright brothers, Dr. King's leader of American civil rights movement, Steve Jobs, innovator, inventor, world changer, Oprah Winfrey. So write their name down. And Wright brothers, why helps me now to Dr. King's why helps me now to blank. Steve Jobs' why helps me now to blank. Oprah's why helps me now to blank. Fill in any other names you want. Think of people whose whys were so powerful that they literally were able to take it and change the course of how we all live. So that's it, right? Do the work. Have some fun with it. Understand it. These will turn into conversation pieces with other people. Doing these things is far more valuable than it might seem on the surface. Um, so this final quote: "Millions saw the apple fall, but Newton was the one who asked why." Ask why. Know why. I hope this is helpful, everybody. So we'll catch you on the next one. But here we are. We're training camp day 4. Remember why and use it all the time. Thanks.